Anointed Warriors. What's up, spiritual family? And welcome back to Mount Fitness MBS Ministry, where I am your host, Brother Mongoose. If you're tuning in for the first time, I am both a minister and a philosopher. So that is to inform you right off bat that this is not the traditional type of ministry, nor am I the traditional type of minister. I'll provide a little bit more information about what I mean in those regards towards the end of the video. But for now, I want to thank all of my long-time supporters and subscribers. Special salute goes out to you guys. Special thanks. You know, you're helping this ministry grow. You know, your comments, liking the video, all that good stuff, man. Hey, listen, a very special thanks goes out to you guys. And I encourage you guys to, if there's any way that this ministry can return the favor, to show the gratitude and the appreciation, reach out to this ministry. I would love the opportunity to join with you in prayer, to give you a word of encouragement, to assist you with your physical goals, whatever, any way that I could be of assistance. Please know that, because that is a real thing. So very special thanks and appreciation goes out to you guys. For you guys that are tuning in for the very first time, welcome. This may be exactly what you're looking for, or maybe not. So we'll see. But one thing we do know, if we're hand on heart honest, all of the societal structures, whether it's everything from public aid to assistance with education, whether it's the justice system, the banking system, political system, we know if we zoom out, we can see that these things have totally failed us as a society and just as good old-fashioned human beings. So if you're looking for a different approach, if you're looking for just different perspectives and different views, then this ministry may be exactly what you're looking for. Again, maybe not, but we'll see. Thanks to you guys for joining as well. And without further ado, let's get off to today's topic. This is, I believe, a chapter 4. And I was again moved in my spirit to make this chapter 4. I think it's a chapter 4, maybe a chapter 3. Matter of fact, I think it's a chapter 3. But in any event, we're talking about the fact that you don't owe them anything. Now, if you haven't watched chapter 1 and chapter 2, please do so, because it'll bring you up to speed. We talked about how, the good book says that owe no man nothing but to love him. And that if you're walking around with this spirit of love and you're offering it out, whether it's in a verbal way, whether it's, in a way that you just share a smile, a word of encouragement, assisting someone in any way that you can, or just being kind and being, a good, high-quality human being. You're operating from that love, and people are not receiving that, or they're not receiving that genuinely, or they're taking advantage of that, or they feel like, they're going to bully you out of that, or whatever the case. You don't owe them people anything. We talked about that in one of the previous chapters. And then we also talked about if you're in a long-term relationship, personal relationship, business relationship, and you found out that these people were just in that relationship with you and they were disingenuous either all along, or they became disingenuous with you during some part, later on in that relationship, and you've contributed to that relationship with your time, with your energy, with your resources. And now, things don't, it's the truth has been made known on them that they're just not for you. And oftentimes, as a chosen one, a lot of these people are operating against you. So we talked about that as well. And if the time has come and that's been revealed to you, then you have to just exit that relationship. You have to follow the Lamb / follow the truth wherever it leads, wherever it goes. And so if you need to walk out of that relationship, then you don't owe them anything. So we talked about that. And then during the close of the last message on this topic, I mentioned the fact that even if they are being true to you, you guys have been in a relationship, again, any kind of relationship, business relationship, personal relationship, or or just regular, friends, or somebody that you see at the cash register, week in and week out when you go to the store, whatever the case may be. And even if they are being genuine to you, and even if they have your best interest at heart, if you know that he has revealed to you that it's time for you to move on, then you have to move on. Now, the good book says that the wisdom of man is foolishness to God. And this is an example of how that can operate, because there may not be any reason in terms of the physical or the physicality of it, in terms of the earthly environment, the finances, they're treating you right. It's not a lot of arguing. There may not be any reason from that standpoint, but it may just be a spiritual reason to where that you guys are just operating on two different frequencies, and it's time to move on. This happens. This can be a real thing. And if and when that time comes, and only he can give you the divine discernment to know if that time has come, especially if it's one of those situations that you're in and you can look at and say, well, technically there's nothing wrong here. So only he can give you that divine discernment to say whether there's something wrong or not. It's time for you to move on. You guys have gone your separate ways energetically, and it's time for you to follow suit physically. If that's the case, then you need to be obedient to him. Here's a cheat sheet, guys. And it's important that we get this, because oftentimes as chosen ones, I know that we carry the light. I know that he's with us. He gives us grace and mercy and all of these things. But sometimes we can kind of drop the ball, if you will, and experience our own misguided notions, our own, bad or false interpretations of what's going on and what we should do, what we're being called to do. See, we're still human beings. I mean, we're still having a human experience. And so we can't lose sight of the fact that our navigational system as human beings can be off at times as well. That's what discernment is for. And we have to really, really lock in and switch on to that, because intellectually, and looking at things from the 3D realm, it's oftentimes easy for us to be operating humanistically and be missing the boat of what's going on in terms of our spiritual man and woman. And ultimately, that's what it's all about, because these bodies go back to the dirt from which they came. So ultimately, it's our spiritual selves that we need to be prioritizing. And again, as chosen ones, we could miss the boat as well. And so it's important that we realize that when we're in these situations and we've come to these crossroads in our relationships, yes, we should have the mindset, as this subject matter addresses, you don't owe them anything. But the cheat sheet is that they don't owe you anything either. I'm going to say it again. They don't owe you anything either. Again, as chosen ones, We need to be totally dialed in and make sure that we're living according to the spiritual downloads and not the intellectual downloads. Because intellectually, we could fall into the same trap of, hey, I've been there for this person, that there's nothing going wrong here. We've been here for all these years. Why is this person leaving me? This person is wrong. Whatever the case may be, you develop a grudge or just totally look at the situation from a skewed perspective, and you're missing the boat. And the boat is they don't owe you anything either. And we gotta know this. Because if and when the time comes for you guys to go your separate ways, then that's what needs to be done. And for you to sit there and say that, well, again, some examples. We've been together 30, 40 years, 20 years, whatever, 10 days, it doesn't matter. We've been here this time, nothing's going wrong. Everything seems to be going smooth. They're leaving me, they're wrong. They're betraying me. They're abandoning me. They're doing all these things when the fact of the matter is they may have just decided that it's in their best interest to just move on, or it's in the best interest of both of you guys. Either way, if they make the decision to move on, you can't, if you sit there and talk about how wrong they are, then you're in as much error as they would be if you decide to leave them and they try to make you feel guilty. So if the time comes for whatever reason, and for chosen one, this usually happens based on an energetic, it's normally born out of energetic thing, like your energies have grown apart. And this is, notwithstanding some of the other examples that I gave in chapter 1 and chapter 2. But these truths remain as well. If there's an energetic shift, you guys have outgrown each other. Not saying that one is better than the other, or one is less than the other, or worse than the other. It's just that time and that season. You need to realize they don't owe you anything either. And you need to let it go. You need to let it go. And I'm not a marriage counselor per se, but I have given this advice, and I got clients right now today. Obviously, I'm not going to say any names. I got clients right now today who are living I won't call it miserable, but totally an unfulfilled life because of the fact that they've outgrown each other. But there's nothing dramatic or traumatic taking place in their lives. And because there's nothing traumatic or dramatic taking place in their lives, they just tough it out and stay with each other, even though there's nothing there. It's a void there. It's almost a situation of comfort, a situation of familiarity. But in terms of love, being in love, that is, in terms of passion, in terms of zest and zeal, and that spark that comes from knowing this is where I should be, all that's missing. And so if you decide that you're going to convince them to stay, and you know that they really, really feel they should go, and you may feel like they should go, or maybe you don't, but either way, if they feel like they want to go, and you convince them to stay, or if you feel like you want to go, and they convince you to stay, and oftentimes it boils down to a sense of guilt. You go to talking to them, or they go to talking to you. There's nothing wrong. We put in all this time. We put in all this effort. We got business relationships all connected across the board, whatever the case may be. If either of you guys convince the other person to stay, it's usually going to boil down to a sense of guilt, a sense of duty, and a sense of obligation. And that's the reason the other person says, okay, I'm going to go ahead and stay. It's not out of a sense of, hey, this feels right. This is fulfilling. This is where we belong. And if you don't let it go, or you convince them to not let it go, then you both just going to be in this warped, very draining situation. And even though it may not be toxic per se, it's still empty. And that's a form of toxicity if it's over a prolonged state and it's based out of one's choice and conscious decision to say, hey, listen, we're just going to stay here. Even though, there's no romance, even though, the business has, topped off, or whatever the case may be, or we know that it's time for us to go our separate ways. And the only reason we're staying is out of a duty, out of some guilt, out of some type of coercion. And you end up just basically just draining each other, because that's draining. That's totally unfulfilling to be there in a relationship that for whatever reason you guys have outgrown. Some people are meant to walk with you up to a certain point of your life. And yes, there may be people that's meant to walk with you throughout your entire life. Yes, obviously, those people may exist in your life. But there are situations and circumstances and people as well in our lives that was meant for a certain time and a certain season. And when that season has come and gone, you don't owe them anything, and they don't owe you anything either. So this is what we got to keep in mind as I conclude. I'm pretty certain that this will conclude, this series. But I would have been remiss had I not added this element in, which is why Heavenly Father downloaded this to me to begin with. Hey, that person don't owe you anything. If you were helping them out, and maybe they were helping you out in a different way, in a different area, but they were contributing. They weren't, just leeching off of you. They was contributing in whatever area or whatever form of resource that they could. And so now the time has come where, it's just not there anymore. It's empty. And I got people that, the past, decade or more, they haven't slept in the same bed. Some of them haven't even slept in the same room. And in that instance, I'm specifically talking about couples, yes. But this can be and is widespread. It could be your business relationships. It could be the nice, friendly conversations you used to get, with your neighbor in passing. And there's nothing wrong. You don't have to become rude or anything, but you just realize, you know what? It just is just, I'm just doing it just because it's politically correct. It doesn't feel good. It doesn't feel organic. It feels like it's, a requirement. I feel like I got to press myself to do it. Then you don't owe that neighbor anything, but to love them. And they don't owe you anything but to love you, which to say, hey, listen, we can be pleasant, we can be kind, but all the little nice conversations that we used to have, we don't have to force that anymore. We don't have to fake that just for the sake of political correctness or for the sake of, how long it's been and now we feel obligated and all of this different stuff. So again, let that be the final piece to this subject matter. And if you'd like some information about how you can make the discernment, obviously it only comes from him, but he does give us information. He gives us good old-fashioned fellowships. He gives us signs and symbols that's up to us to embrace in order so that we can properly receive the download that comes by way of his discernment. So if you, by way of his Holy Spirit, we have to discern that. We have to decode that properly. So if this ministry can be of service to you, and if you know that this message is resonating with you, then that means it's resonating with you. It's for you. Please hit the like and share this forward, because again, this could be going on, and I'm pretty certain it is going on. If not in your individual life, perhaps in the lives of somebody that you know. There's others out there that need to hear this, because people are walking around just almost kind of zombied out as a result of them staying on that job, staying in that relationship, that empty, unfulfilling, draining career, just because it may be paying the bills, but it's now they've outgrown it to the point to where it's like they're carrying around all this weight on their back. So people need to hear this, and if you agree with me, make sure that you share the message. But I'll talk about that here in a bit. Let's get back to the ministry and what makes this a different kind of ministry. This ministry, guys, even though I trace the origins of this ministry back to religion, the Bible in particular, but all the other major religions as well have been researched. I've been devout to them for extended period of times over the years. So the religion, the ministry, even though its roots go back to religion, this ministry is not shackled by religion. This ministry is not limited by religion. This ministry, from that standpoint, it's not based on religion in terms of the messaging and moving ahead with being good, decent human beings. Yes, it's born out of religion, but again, it's not handcuffed to that. This ministry is this ministry is operating in a belief that when we honor everything that he's given us, a mind, a body, and our spirit, when we honor these things, just like we use these things each and every day. So when we show appreciation and gratitude to these things each and every day, we do something to acknowledge, to refresh, to renew, to strengthen, to revitalize our mentality, our physicality, and our spirituality. It makes us more fulfilled as human beings, and it certainly makes us more efficient and potent when it comes to advancing his kingdom. So this ministry is living and promoting a holistic path to health and wellness, to life, and to running the race that he has set before us. Now, the services that are utilized to achieve this goal consist of experiential-based philosophical consultative services that are designed to nourish and strengthen one's mind, ISSA certified fitness training that's designed to nourish and strengthen one's body, and clean-hearted spiritual teachings and practices that are designed to help nourish and strengthen one's spirit and one's soul. So if that's what this ministry is about, and you are supporting this ministry, or you're watching this message, whether you're going to support this ministry or not, let me ask you, what are you going to do today to say thank you, Father, for the vessel, the physical body that you've given me? Thank you, Father, for the mentality, having a sound and strong and clean mind. Thank you for that. What are you going to do to honor that? What are you going to do to honor the fact that he's given you a clean spirit? You're not out there as a disciple of darkness. You haven't surrendered your soul to the narcissistic invasion that's engulfed the overwhelming majority of collective society. What are you going to do to say thank you and to honor those things? What are you going to do to strengthen, refresh, and revitalize those things? Because you use them every day. And you should do something for them. In accordance to the humble beliefs of this ministry, you should do something every day to acknowledge them. What are you going to do today? You're going to work out? You're going to take the stairs instead of the escalator or the elevator? And as an aside, guys, I'll be mentioning this in my upcoming video. As an aside, I rarely make videos that talk about physical fitness, and that's because there's no one size fits all. I can't tell you what you should be doing in terms of your workout, in terms of your diet, and all this stuff. I could generalize, but there's no one size fits all. You may need less or more protein than me. You may need less or more cardio than me. You may need less or more time in the gym. So I very rarely make those videos, guys. In order for you guys to let me know that you're interested, you have to reach out to this ministry. Now, the consultation, if you guys reach out by way of this YouTube channel, then the consultation, which is a $60 value, is free to you guys with zero strings attached. So keep that in mind, guys, and I'll be talking about that in my upcoming video, where I'll be talking about breaking down the services and what they look like. But do some. Are you gonna really make sure that you get your prayer, your meditation, your time in nature, your acts of random kindness, your acts of genuine forgiveness, your acts of self-love? What are you gonna do today to honor your spiritual man or woman? What are you going to do to get the brain synapses firing in ways that are not done each and every day, which to say more than just waking up, driving your car, going to work, balancing your checkbook? What are you going to do? The brain needs to be exercised in a new and different way. Again, I'll be talking about that in the upcoming video as well. But what are you going to do to strengthen, to refresh and renew your mental you? Now, if you'd like some information, some advice, some assistance in any or all of those areas, I'm going to leave an email link down in the description. Please let me know how this ministry can be of assistance to you in any or all of those areas. Now, as I speed this up, please also remember that some additional services that are provided by this ministry that also embraces that holistic approach consist of good old-fashioned motivational speaking and youth and young adult mentoring and counseling. If you'd like some information about the specific details about what these services actually entails, what they look like, how they're applied, and how they're going to be beneficial to you, then hit me with a message down in that email link. Or again, I'm going to be posting this information in an upcoming video. That's what I got for you guys, man. As far as what makes me a different kind of minister, there's a video that you're going to want to watch, and you're going to want to watch it as close to as soon as possible. As soon as possible. You're going to want to watch it as soon as possible. Because on one hand, you could be turned off by this ministry. On the other hand, you could be inspired by this ministry. So why waste time in knowing, hey, I could be turned off by this ministry? And why waste time receiving inspiration? Because chances are when you watch this video, it's going to be an either or, pardon me. Pardon me, guys. There's going to be an either or. So you're going to want to watch that video. It's titled My Testimony and My Disclosure. Check that out on the YouTube, on this YouTube channel. I believe that's everything. Please visit the physical fitness branch of the ministry located at mountfitnessmbs.com. If you have any questions about the physical fitness stuff or any of the services, again, reach out to this ministry. That email link will be down in the description. I believe that's everything. If you got anything out of this message, then please help support this ministry. Let's take a second and let's see. Let's just be honest with yourself, because I know you're a good person. I don't have to remind you, but sometimes it's good for us to be reminded, including myself. God sees everything. And he knows if you really got something out of today's message. If you didn't, fine. That's totally fair. But if you did, then please give back to this ministry. Show your thanks. Show your appreciation. And show your support of the fact that you got something out of this ministry, if you would, please. You can do so by subscribing to the channel if you aren't already subscribed, and by hitting the thumbs up button. If you haven't done it just yet, reach over there. It takes a couple seconds, and I do appreciate it infinitely. So hit the subscribe, hit the thumbs up, and while you're at it, also please hit the share button. Gosh, I'm trying to shorten this closing up. Hit the share button as well, guys. Take a message that's beneficial to you, hit the share button, pay that message forward, and give this message the opportunity to also be helpful to someone else. That's also very important, and I know that you're that kind of person, or you wouldn't have watched this video for the over 30 minutes that you have. So do all those things, and if you'd like to receive a notification when I upload a new message, please also hit the bell icon. If you'd like to make an additional or take an additional step to help this ministry, you can do so by making a monetary donation. No amount is too small. I'm going to leave a Cash App link down in the description for you to do that. And whatever generosity you show to this ministry, sharing love, that's a generosity. Sharing a word of encouragement, that's generosity. It's not just the finances that requires generosity. Sharing your time, taking the time to leave a comment, send me those emails that you guys send and let me know that the ministry is beneficial to you. You got something out of today's message. But any clean seed that you plant into this ministry, may you receive an abundant harvest from him, shaken down, pressed together, and running over. And that's whether if your generosity, it includes a financial donation, a generosity of love, generosity of a word of encouragement, generosity in terms of taking the time to like, share, and thumbs up on the video. Whatever good seed that you plant into this ministry, please receive your harvest by faith. Shaken down, pressed together, and running over. That is not my word, guys. That's his word. So receive it by faith. I believe that's everything. I'm going to get out of here. Some of you guys can help me. Hey, minister, you can shorten this closing or this opening up by doing this. Hey, man, I don't know if you guys can see all the grays or not. But on a serious note, I'm not a computer guy, man. So I'm doing this the best way that I can, trusting in him, trusting that you guys, will reach out and say, hey, minister, we need to hold you accountable, sir. There's a better way for you to do this, and if you want to, be more time conscious or whatever, you can shorten that by doing this, whatever, any kind of way that you can help this ministry, man. Remember, he's promised to be a helper to those who are a helper of others. So help me shorten this up. If you got any advice on how I can do that, whatever the case may be, but definitely have an awesome day. And remember, you don't owe them anything. You really don't. You've put in the work. You've been patient. Some of these people, the truth has been made known on them, that they're disingenuous, that they're manipulative. You don't owe them anything. Some of you guys are in long-term relationships, and you guys have that season has ended in you guys' life. You put in work and time, they put in work and time. You don't owe them anything, and they don't owe you anything either. So, again, you got all the information. If this ministry can be of service to you or some advice, some prayer, whatever it takes, reach out. That email link will be down there in the description. Thanks for thanking all the financial donation. If the Heavenly Spirit moves you to make one, remember, no amount is too small. I believe that's everything. Always live a life that everybody can see. More importantly, that you can see and that God can see. This thing we call God. Live a life that sets example of one who says, hey, man, I'm rolling with faith over fear. I'm rolling with truth over tradition. I'm moving in knowledge over nonsense. I'm moving in love. Someone or something that I love, not lust for a person or lust for a job or more money that's going to leave me unfulfilled. Not lusting for the cars and the partner or whatever. It's love. Put love over lust, and always put people over profit. Prioritize people over profit, guys. You know that's what we do here. Profits come and go, man, but that soul, that's with you forever. So always be a good person and put people over profit. That's what I got for you guys. Help me shorten this closing. But either way, I love y'all, and I'll see y'all in the next one. Have an awesome day. I am Brother Minister Mongoose, and I will holler back. Peace.